I'm sorry, be still my heart. Apple's going retro, bringing back the tactile keyboard and adding more ports to the MacBook Pro. What's at the heart of that?
We got a headphone jack.
I know,
It's the
I know.
best
I'm
of
so
all
excited.
worlds, right? So here's what Apple's strategy is. Right? They are out there creating their own silicone, right? And so this is such an important point because it's allowing them to create their hardware and their own chipsets. Not only does it add a little boost to the margin, but it allows them to seamlessly design hardware for the software to create this incredible, snappy performance in all their devices. If you use the iPhone 13, you know what we're talking about, and these new MacBook Pros look to be fantastic machines.
Okay, the tactile, that is great. I mean, no more of that bar that we had, which of course was touch. And I always had trouble with that because it would disappear, John. But what do you think is at work here? And do you think that the stock is moving higher right now because these are big ticket items and we can put up the price of what this MacBook Pro is going to look like?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the stock price movement because normally, as you said, there's usually a sell-off the day of an announcement. And I think that underscores probably the happiness with what we see. I mean, the ports, I'm glad you mentioned the ports because that jumped out at me immediately. The thinner bezels, the improved displays, longer lasting batteries, more memory options. It's faster than the M1 chip. And the other thing that's interesting to me is when I saw this announcement, it kind of gave me a flashback to the iPhone announcements and the kind of this intent that they're creating these products that are almost like Hollywood quality video and sound, so you can do your own kind of production, your own kind of movies. Like here's the desktop version of what we were getting with the iPhones. And then quickly on the AirPods, it's I think the first update in at least 2 years.
Right.
And these third generations are going to borrow some features from the more premium AirPods Pro line. So yes, taking all into account, it was very impressive as these things go, and the stock reflects that.
Yeah, 6-hour battery life. And by the way, it pairs as soon as you open the case. $179, sweat and water resistant. I'm doing the happy dance. But I will say this, Colin. They did not mention the chip shortage, obviously, because they're making their own chips, and the MacBook Pro's got that M1 chip that is brand new. And so you've got to figure that they're in the sweet spot, not stuck at least in that part of the supply chain. I know their iPhones are, and that they've had to pull back on quite a few of those, at least for the moment.
Yeah, and so that's a great point, Liz, because when you think about Apple, there's a lot of concern about supply chain disruption. We saw that was actually, moderated in the June quarter. We may see that, moderated as well in the September quarter, and there's a chance for gross margin upside that could be a very positive catalyst for the stock because the iPhone 13, is really an S model. And so there's going to be a chance for the company to continue to grind down their component costs. In fact, that they've said that is the case. And the nice thing about today's event is, because of the iPhone 13 launch, there's a little pull through into the September quarter of the phones that were shipped on the launch day. So to have a new line of MacBook Pros, high ticket items, plus, $99 HomePod minis and $179 AirPods, that's all going to help the December holiday quarter.
December holiday quarter, if you can get your hands on this stuff. And by the way, I was watching the store. It was shut down, at least for the time being, saying we're updating. And then they said almost done. Of course, they're waiting for the big swarm of orders. Great to see you guys. Colin, John, thank you very much.